The Bears won the toss. They have deferred. Trevor Davis, who was hurt much of last year, to run it back. 65 degrees, clear skies in Chicago. And the 100th season begins with a touchback. Green Bay, the offense comes out on the field. Let's meet them.
Aaron Rodgers, Cal.
Aaron Jones, UTEP.
Devontae Adams, Fresno State.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, South Florida.
Geronimo Allison, Illinois.
Jimmy Graham, the U.
David Bakhtiari, University of Colorado.
Lane Taylor, Oklahoma State.
Corey Lindsley, The Ohio State University.
Billy Turner, North Dakota State. Brian Balaga, Iowa.
Billy Turner, one of the new Packers, picked him up in free agency, the right guard from Denver. Quite the hairstyle. Aaron Rodgers telling us yesterday he loves this guy. Aaron Rodgers begins season number 15, his 12th as a starter, the new head coach. And they start with a little toss play. And making the play defensively is Roquan Smith, their top pick last year. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl MVP, two-time NFL MVP. The last was 5 years ago. The highest passer rating in NFL history and the lowest interception rate. He had only 2 picks all of last year. Play action, little dump off pass. Jones gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. Big start for that Bear defense.
Well, 2 plays, and Roquan Smith's going to make both of them. He smelled this screen pass out. He simply is one of the best athletes playing linebacker in the National Football League. As you watched him last year, he really missed camp. Didn't have a great understanding of this defense. By the time you watched him at the end of the season, he was sensational and picking up right where he left off.
He was the last of the rookie holdouts last season, but played on opening night. Play clock down to 1. And they just do get it off. And Rodgers in the pocket with a pump fake. Flag is thrown, a first of the season. Certainly not the last. And down he goes for the moment. That's Roy Robertson Harris who got there. Tony Correnti is tonight's referee, and we'll get the call from Tony.
Holding, offense, number 65. His penalty is declined. The result of the play, 4th down.
That Bear defense picking right up where they left off last season.
Roy Robertson Harris is just going to go right through Lane Taylor. I guess you can call that holding. It's more like survival at that point. And this Bears defense picks up just like they did a season ago.
And it was Robertson Harris who knocked Rodgers out of the opening game last year, only to see Aaron come back in that miracle comeback. J.K. Scott to punt. Tariq Cohen is back. Sets up at the 32 and collects it there. Looks for some blocks. Tries to get to the outside. He's explosive and then runs out of room at about the 42-yard line into the Bears bench. He goes as we take a look at the Chicago offense.
Mitchell Trubisky, North Carolina.
Tariq Cohen, North Carolina A&T.
Allen Robinson, Penn State.
Anthony Miller, the University of Memphis.
Taylor Gabriel, Abilene Christian.
Adam Shaheen, Ashland.
Charles Leno Jr., Boise State.
Cody Whitehair, Kansas State.
James Daniels, Warren G. Harding High School.
Kyle Long, Saddleback College.
Bobby Massey, Ole Miss.
Well, last year they started with the T formation in Matt Nagy's first game, and here they line up 3 backs, and they line up in the Wildcat, but now Trubisky's going to take the snap here, and away they go, and they drop it here, and Cohen puts it on the grass. Flag is down to the 38-yard line, so not quite the start that either team was looking for offensively tonight. Shifting and a lot of gadgetry, and Nagy was noted for that last season.
Holding, defense, number 97. 5-yard penalty and an automatic First down.
Kenny Clark. Another look here at the
Good to
pitch.
see about a 1-yard pitch. There just wasn't enough time there for Tariq Cohen to get his hands on the football. Luckily, they catch a break because of the hold on Kenny Clark here. A lot of times these defensive linemen, their job, their assignment is to make sure the offensive linemen don't get up to those linebackers.
Flanking Trubisky is one of the new Bears. It's Mike Davis. Came over from Seattle, before that San Francisco. Takes the ball into Green Bay territory for a gain of 5. There is Matt Nagy. Several years under Andy Reid with Kansas City. It's a pretty good way to go to school. Got the job last year. Led the team to a 12-4 mark, and they were in every game. The losses were by a total of 14 points, and then the one in the playoffs by 1 point. 2 of those losses were in overtime, so they came fairly close to a perfect season. 2nd and 5. Play fake, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Be 3rd down and 5. So Trubisky, the number 2 pick in the draft 2 years ago, behind only Myles Garrett of Cleveland. In 2018, his record there, he missed 2 games with a shoulder injury. 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. Pretty good passer rating, and he was selected to the Pro Bowl. And if he can make as many strides from year 2 to year 3 as he did from 1 to 2, he's going to be something. Bunch formation set to the right. On 3rd down and 5, Trubisky's going to step up. He's got great mobility, and he shows you there he can run, and he did it a lot last year. He's tackled by Raven Green, and it's Chicago 1st down.
So it looks like the Green Bay Packers are up here going to be in a blitz look, but just like they did a season ago, they drop back into these zones. Part of the reason why is they don't want Trubisky running the football. So what happens? He runs the football for a 1st down.
Averaged over 6 yards per total last year. One guy missing for the Bears tonight is Trey Burton, their tight end. So they're short in that department. Took a look at Blake Martinez there, who led the team in tackles by a mile last year, number 50. Trubisky rolling and throwing toward the sideline, and that's incomplete. Intended for Tariq Cohen as we take a look at the Green Bay defense.
Dean Lowry, Northwestern. Kenny Clark, UCLA.
Montrezl Adams, Auburn University.
Preston Smith, Mississippi State.
Blake Martinez, Stanford.
Zadarius Smith, the University of Kentucky.
Jair Alexander, the University of Louisville.
Tony Brown, Bill Alabama.
Adrian Amos, Baltimore, Maryland.
Darnell Savage Jr., Maryland.
Tremont Williams, Louisiana Tech.
The 2 Smiths free agents. Amos was here for the last 4 years and then goes up to Wisconsin. Signs with the Packers. Meanwhile, Trubisky in traffic and puts his head down and gets whacked at the 39-yard line after a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, it looked like a good setup, but here on the outside, it's a newcomer on the outside. Preston Smith just plays that perfectly. Those long arms, was able to get a hand on each. And then coming up to make the tackle, Adrian Amos, his former teammate.
Ball to the 39. It's 3rd down and 9 for the Bears on their first possession. Trubisky, who started 0 for 2 under pressure, and there's Martinez busting through. Blake Martinez off a sensational year, 4th year out of Stanford, and he is really the key to that defense.
Got James Daniel, who moves over from guard to center, and they just miscommunicate here. Give a straight shot through to Martinez, who had 5 sacks a season ago, and maybe none of them quite that easy.
Each team with a punt now as O'Donnell comes in. Trevor Davis sets up at the 10-yard line. Davis drifts over, calls for, and makes the fair catch at the 11, and that's where Rodgers and company will go to work when we come back. 9.5 to go in the quarter. No score in Chicago. At the start, it was Curly Lambeau, the Green Bay head coach from 1919 to 1949. Of course, it's Lambeau Field. in Green Bay. And George Halas, founder, owner, and the head coach over 40 years, 4 different iterations. And meanwhile, Matt LaFleur now in his first season, first time he's been a head coach. Matt Nagy is in his second season. Rodgers, who was never totally healthy last year, from the 12-yard line, shoots one to the outside, and that one is incomplete. Look for a second as if Roquan Smith would come up with it. He's already been all over the field. 2nd down and 10.
You know, Al, that was really close, because if it went off of Jimmy Graham's foot, this would have been, but it hit the ground just a bit before it caught the foot. Obviously, it didn't matter. He didn't catch it, but little short hop.
Yes. About half and half. The crowd is seeing it, and they want a challenge. But Nagy gets word from upstairs that you're not going to win it. 2nd and 10 through the middle. And again, the Bears are right there. And this time it's Khalil Mack, number 52, came over last year before the start of the season. And that really jump-started the Chicago Bears.
Well, one of the things with an inside zone is you're going to get the tight end. In this case, Jimmy Graham coming across to block Khalil Mack. Ain't going to win many of those right there. Khalil Mack is a monster on the edge. So those inside zone plays, cutting back to him, are going to be awfully tough.
3rd down and 10. The Packers have run 5 plays from minus 10 yards. Low snap. Rodgers under pressure again. Gets sacked back at the 3-yard line. Mack and Leonard Floyd are both in there. Whew.
The one thing they want to do is surprise you with Khalil Mack. Here he comes. You see Bulaga looking outside. That's the new guard, Billy Turner, who came over from Denver. They love how physical he is, how tough he is, and Mack just made him look silly.
J.K. Scott sets up at the back of the end zone on a 4th and 17. Tariq Cohen sets up at midfield. Comes up for it. Collects at the 47, but there's a flag down. And Cohen takes the ball to the 40-yard line. Pending the penalty. Tackled there by Ty Summers, and Tony Corrente will tell us, hopefully. Now he realizes Tony was ready to call a timeout for a commercial. Then he realizes there's a flag downfield.
Well, it's early for everybody, right?
Yes, it is.
I'll tell you, so far the offense of this game has been the Bears defense pushing the Packers backwards. That's where all the yards have been.
Member of the kicking team went out of bounds and came back in voluntarily. 5-yard penalty to be added to the end of the play. 1st down.
Almost halfway through the opening quarter on opening night. No score.
I was 22-10 against the Bears.
You know, that doesn't sound right. Not accurate. You know, Mary Pat?
Brett Favre's record was -1-33 versus the Bears.
Intercepted.
That's so great. Oh, man. Brian Urlacher, one of the great Chicago Bears, in the Hall of Fame. Of course, you go through their history, and the middle linebackers, stunning. Of course, think about Dick Butkus, number 1. Right now at the 36-yard line. And this is the first carry for David Montgomery, who broke a ton of tackles at Iowa State. So with Montgomery, the Bears did not have a pick until the 3rd round, and they traded up 12 spots to get him. And the 73rd overall pick at Iowa State. I mean, he did so many things. He broke so many tackles, and he's part of that 3-headed monster, as they called it, in that backfield right now.
Yeah, and he didn't get many carries during the course of the preseason either. Neither one of these teams really played much at all. But in the few carries he did get, he looked like he was back in college breaking tackles.
Trubisky did not throw a single pass in preseason. Rodgers did not play a snap. Inside handoff here, and a gaping hole exploited by David Montgomery for a first down. So his NFL debut results in 2 carries, and he moves the chains.
Really, the key so many times is this center position. Can he get that hook block right there? And no question about it, that time Daniel's able to do that. Al hit on a little bit just how tremendous David Montgomery was in college. Missed tackles forced 185, and out of all the running backs, 975 of them, he was the best.
Ryan Pace, the GM, he was thrilled. He was available. Right now, timeout, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. .6:13 remaining in the opening quarter. As it turned out, they called initially a timeout, and the Bears did not take it. So play resumes as Montgomery gets a heavy workload here on this series to the 25, gain of 1. And Preston Smith, free agent, came over from the Redskins, makes the tackle.
Well, they're buzzing along pretty good. There's Preston Smith, and it's interesting when you end up switching out both outside linebackers. Clay Matthews, Nick Perry, been here for so long. Preston Smith, kind of a big, long, physical sort of a guy, and Zadarius Smith on the other side for Mike Pettin. And setting the edge and containing this offense, just paramount.
2nd down and 9. Pettin held over from Mike McCarthy's staff last year. And again, that defense collects it as Mike Davis, 5th-year back, South Carolina, unrestricted free agent signing, makes it 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, and you just wonder if Eddie Piñeiro's over there warming up a little bit.
Aren't we?
We had a chance to meet him yesterday or a couple days ago, and just, you know, sort of through no sins of his own, all the pressure on that job because of what happened with the double doink a season ago. But it would be his first moment here if they don't convert.
He's getting ready. He's praying for an extra point, not a field goal. Trubisky under pressure, and he slings that to the 20-yard line. It's caught there by Cohen. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's 4th down. Crowd begins to murmur and buzz. Angst filling Soldier Field.
And a lot of the crowd are saying quiet, quiet. They're trying to quiet the rest of the crowd. I don't think it makes any difference.
This kid is an amazing story, and we'll see if he can make this one from 38. Played his college ball in Florida. A 38-yard field goal is good. Oh, baby. A collective exhale here in Chicago, and it's 3-0 Bears. Eddie Piñeiro, happiest guy in the building, smiling with the officiating crew. Here it is again. It looked like he might have hooked it at first. Here's the tracer, and it kind of comes back. And good. That would have been good from 57 yards. There's his dad, also named Eddie, a former professional soccer player. Yeah. Chris Tabor, the special teams coach. And now the kickoff bounces and goes out of bounds. So he follows that up with a kickoff that goes out of bounds, which is going to give the Packers the ball at the 40-yard line.
The ball be placed at the 40-yard line.
And let's check in with Michelle.
Well, Eddie Piñeiro was a high school soccer star, but his dad thought Eddie's big leg could kick field goals. So they drove to a kicking camp at Alabama where Nick Saban handed him a full scholarship. But on the drive back to Miami, Piñeiro stopped in Gainesville for a tryout, and the Gators offered him a scholarship. And because Piñeiro's parents couldn't afford to travel to games in Tuscaloosa, Eddie decommitted from Alabama and chose Florida, guys.
And we asked, as you know, Michelle, we asked him if he heard from Nick Saban, and he said, yeah, I got a letter. What was in it? I can't tell you.
It wasn't nice.
From the 40-yard line, a little dart is incomplete, intended for Davante Adams. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
One of my favorite parts of that whole story, though, was he went into the Cheesecake Factory with his dad, just kind of relaxed. And, of course, fans recognized him and came up to him. And he said, hey, Eddie, congratulations, man. Don't screw it up now, you know, and that was his introduction to Chicago.
Yeah, screw it up was a euphemism.
Yes, it was.
2nd down and 10 to the outside. The pass is caught. Rodgers with his first completion to Adams, and it's Kyle Fuller making the tackle. 3rd down and 5. And here we are with less than 4 minutes to go in the quarter. Matt LaFleur running the offense. He's the play caller as well as the head coach. They've run 8 plays for minus 12 yards.
Yeah, they're taking this throwback thing a little too seriously, I think.
Rodgers was sacked 49 times last year, already sacked twice tonight, both on 3rd down. Jamal Williams comes in at running back.
Davante Adams is the guy they need to get him going right here.
Bears back off on defense. Rodgers solidly in the pocket, and the pass is errant, intended for Adams. So once again, they stop him. And Green Bay does not have a 1st down tonight.
And that was the new slot back over there, Buster Skrine, who's taken over for Bryce Callahan, who really was one of the better slot players in the league a season ago.
Skrine, former Jet. So into kick now, J.K. Scott, his 3rd punt of the night. As usual, Tariq Cohen back to receive it, calls for the fair catch at the 8-yard line, and we've got a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Close to it. It was 4th down and 5.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 45. This penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. 1st down. Timeout.
That'll back him way up with 3:13 to go in the period. This drive starts back at the 4-yard line with Mike Davis going nowhere. Take a look at their #1 draft pick. They had 2 #1 picks. And that's one Darnell Savage, a rookie out of Maryland. They picked Rashawn Gary slightly ahead of him. But this guy is it's an appropriate last name, I think.
I mean, honestly, he has a chance to be an Earl Thomas type player. Sit back there in center field, make plays sideline to sideline, runs 4.4. Had a quarterback rating against him of 36, by far the best in the country for any safety last year. Tremendous player.
Now Cordero Patterson comes into the game. And the pass is thrown to the other side away from the 3, and it's Allen Robinson. Had a good career at Jacksonville, got hurt, came here last year, was injured from time to time, and had a phenomenal game in that wild card game against Philadelphia. 3rd down.
Yeah, ended up setting a Bears record, 143 yards receiving in that game, and they are really excited about how healthy he is. 2nd year back from the ACL, and you could tell watching him run around in practice, he was feeling it.
Earned a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots last season. They spread it out now, going 5 wide on a 3rd down and 4. And a whistle.
Timeout. Chicago. They're first.
And a timeout.
32nd timeout.
Well, perfect way to start the season. It's out in the hall. Grantland Rice was out there and Damon Runyon. We're still in these duds. Anyway, what a way to start the season. It's perfect. You know, you begin with the Bears and the Packers. It's the 100th year, and it's football. As John Madden says, it just sounds like football.
It really does. And the rivalry is pretty real right now. Aaron Rodgers telling us, you know, back in the day, we played these guys all the time, and you kind of got to know them a little bit. He said there's not a lot of friendly stuff going on right now between these 2 teams. So come out here and maybe no surprise this defensive start.
Well, Green Bay, of course, with Mike McCarthy all of those years. McCarthy 13 years and got fired with 4 games left in the season. Joe Philbin took over on an interim basis, and now LaFleur. And his offense off to a very slow start, to say the least. But right now the defense tries to hold Chicago deep in their own territory on a 3rd down and 4. And here they come with a blitz, and the pass to the outside is incomplete, but there's a flag. Intended for Patterson. Pressure was put on. He got it away. Tramon Williams, the longtime veteran, now in his 13th season with the coverage. Here's Corrente again.
Pass interference, defense number 38. Ball is placed at the spot of a foul and an automatic 1st down.
That was kind of interesting. The contact happened before the ball was thrown there. There was probably more of a hold. He grabbed the back of his jersey, but whatever.
That is challengeable, but there is no challenge on that play. It's got to be clear and obvious, the words in the rule book right now. As Trubisky fires up to the 21-yard line, and that's caught by Adam Shaheen, one of their 3 active tight ends tonight, tackled there by Tony Brown. Gain of 6, 2nd down and 4 with a minute and a half to go in the quarter.
Yeah, and you can tell already this Bears offense limited just a little bit without Trey Burton. One of the things that they love to do is put Trey Burton on the single receiver side with 3 receivers the other way. And oh, by the way, have Tariq Cohen coming out of the backfield and create those one-on-ones for both those guys. And obviously can't do it tonight without Trey Burton.
2nd and 4. Keep it on the ground, looking for room. Starts to stumble is Montgomery, but again breaking tackles as he did so often at Iowa State. One of the reasons they loved him in the draft, and that's a 1st down for Chicago.
I mean, this is good enough blocking, but this is really all about David Montgomery. He just keeps weaving. He keeps finding a way. Looks like he's going to go down there. No, he does not. Fights his way for the 1st down. So far, his running has really been the thing that has cranked up this offense just a little bit.
Mix and match now. They go with Mike Davis in the backfield. Positions him to the other side as Trubisky hangs in the pocket, fires, it's tipped, and it's incomplete. Through into traffic, Taylor Gabriel, the intended receiver. Jair Alexander covering on the play. 2nd and 10 with 16 seconds left in the quarter.
I tell you what, I know there are a lot of good young cornerbacks in the league right now. Jair Alexander, I think, is going to be a superstar in this league. You watch him, and he is usually plastered. Now, he made some really sort of foolish young mistakes last year, just things he shouldn't have done. But when he is locked in and focused in on a single receiver, it is very difficult to get away from Jair Alexander.
2nd and 10. Inside, and Montgomery this time cannot get on track. Blake Martinez makes the tackle. He made 144 of them last year, and that will take us into the 2nd quarter. End of 1. Chicago 3, Green Bay nothing. NFL's kickoff special on NBC continues after these messages. And it's 3-0 Chicago as we start the 2nd quarter. 3rd down and 9. Mike Davis is the running back.
Hey, Gator from here.
Trubisky under pressure, slides away, throws, and it is dropped at the 35-yard line. Kevin King had it. He had position that time on Cordero Patterson and could not hold on. 4th down, they'll punt.
Well, Kevin King coming back from the hamstring injury, but you'll see the pressure again. They are not afraid right now coming up the gut. Good job by Trubisky to get away, but then a sort of a crazy throw across his body, hanging it up, and really that is one that Kevin King should have had.
Here's Patrick O'Donnell's 2nd kick of the night.
You got time! You got time!
Trevor Davis from the 25-yard line, pinned against the sideline, can go next to nowhere. Tackled at the 27. Back in 30 seconds. One of the big storylines in Green Bay this preseason was Aaron Rodgers not playing at all. He might have played a couple of series in Baltimore, but his back tightened up. Then they thought about playing him a little bit in Winnipeg, and the field conditions weren't right. So he didn't play at all, didn't take a snap. And tonight, so far, no good. No first downs. 9 plays the Packers have run for -12.
Timeout. Green Bay.
And Green Bay takes a timeout. He, of course, is going against the best defense among other things. The new monsters of the Midway. Fewest points allowed in the NFL, 6 touchdowns on takeaways. First to lead the NFL in bowls since 2006, and that was Vic Fangio, who was here. Misery index, sack, interception, or forced fumble on 1 passing play out of every 8. That's the best in the NFL. So Fangio leaves here after 4 years. Now the head coach at Denver took Ed Donatel with him. Chuck Pagano, the former head coach of Indianapolis, gets the defensive coordinator job after a year out of coaching. And his charges great so far tonight. Now Rodgers finally has some time and is going to air it out deep downfield, and at the 27-yard line, that is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. So they do absolutely nothing in the first quarter, and then Rodgers collects 47 on that pass.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers was telling us about Valdes-Scantling. He said he's fast, but he didn't know what he was doing last year, so he didn't play fast. Now we're starting to see him play to his speed, and the Chicago Bears saw it there.
From the 27 now, rolling the other way and throwing, completes this one. Mercedes Lewis gains about 8. The number 2 tight end to Jimmy Graham, and it's second down and the deuce.
Great read here by Aaron Rodgers. This safety comes out, that safety goes that way, so there was nobody center field. And Aaron Rodgers, as he can do when he sees it, here it goes. Perfectly thrown.
Second down, short 2. From the 19-yard line, collects a first down here, and breaking a tackle is Davante Adams, and he's going to make it a first down and goal. Davante Adams, tremendous over the last 3 years, 111 grabs last season, went to the Pro Bowl. He's terrific in the red zone. 47 targets and 19 touchdowns over the last 2 years. The passer rating from Rodgers to him, or whoever's a quarterback to him, terrific. See what they do here. First and goal. Rodgers hangs in the pocket, throwing into a lot of traffic, and it's caught for the touchdown by Jimmy Graham. And just like that, the Green Bay Packers take the lead. It took them 1 minute and 35 seconds to go 74 yards. How about that offense now?
And Rodgers, with the tempo, comes up and gets it going once they hit the big play, just like you'd see Tom Brady. But watch his throw. He's facing left, flips it to the right. It looks like no way it's going to be intercepted. But why not? Right there's Jimmy Graham, the old basketball player, just goes up for the rebound and makes a play. And you talking about a turnaround. It went from nothing to flying down the field.
Mason Crosby for the extra point. Graham did not catch a touchdown over the last 8 games last season. So just like that, in 1.5 minutes, the Green Bay Packers on opening night in Chicago take the lead 7-3. Touchback here, and Aaron Rodgers, like he was shot out of a cannon down the field.
You know, Al, the biggest thing is now they do a little fake reverse, the whole thing, and Rodgers gets a chance to survey the field, and he looks up and he goes, oh my gosh, there's not a safety in the middle of the field. And that's all it is. At that point, you take that shot. And here is the same thing. This is believing that your guy is better than their guy. That's all that is. You just flip it up in the air, let the old rebounder go get it, give him a chance. And Aaron Rodgers did it twice on that drive.
Well, after that first quarter, why not take a shot deep downfield? He did. It leads 7-3. Now Trubisky starting this drive. with a pass, and reaching up and making the grab is Allen Robinson. Great catch. Beats Tony Brown. Good coverage.
Well, as usual, it starts with a great release off the ball. Hard inside here, going against Tony Brown, who is actually filling in for Kevin King. But then that's the magic. That's the reason you go get Allen Robinson. That's what he did when he played with Jacksonville. Those back shoulder throws, and he is feeling good right now.
Gain of 27. Anthony Miller setting up in the slot to the right. And that pass is incomplete. Intended for Robinson. Tight coverage that time by Tramon Williams. It'll be second down and 10.
You know, Tramon Williams, and there's Aaron Rodgers over there feeling a little better about things. Tramon Williams, though, is sort of the ultimate backup plan. 36 years old. No matter where they play him, he's one of the best that they have. They can play him outside. They can play him inside. He's playing the slot now as Josh Jackson starts to develop in there. So who knows how long he's going to play, but 32 career interceptions. It's been a great career for him.
Started with Green Bay and moved around for a while. Was with Arizona and now back in Packerland. Play fake and over the middle. Cohen makes the catch, a little short of the first down. Tariq taking it to the 39-yard line on his second grab of the night.
Here's what makes the RPO stuff so hard is you have to play this as a linebacker, but you take one too many steps forward, and here it comes right behind you. You could see Martinez, he knew that he had to cover that void, but it was just perfectly executed that time by the Bears.
3rd and 1 at the Packer 39-yard line. Now you got Patterson setting up in the backfield. 8 yards deep. And he's stuffed with a flag down before he even gets to the line of scrimmage. Clark and Adrian Amos come up. So it was 3rd and 1.
Wow.
Looking over at the Green Bay bench. So
holding offense number 68. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play creates 4th down.
Yeah, right. It's either going to be, 3rd and 7 or 4th and 3. They opt for 4th and 3.
Watch this move. Penny Clark is one of the best against the run and pass, and James Daniels, who moved over from guard, he was a college center, barely got a finger on him. That is one heck of an athletic move right there from a big man that weighs 315 pounds.
O'Donnell now, punt number 3. Davis lets it go, takes a nice Chicago hop, and it's down at the 2-yard line. 11:10 to go in the half. Green Bay by 4. Back into Soldier Field. Packed to the gills, of course, tonight. Drive starts at the 4-yard line. You got Jamal Williams at running back. Dan Vitale is the fullback in this formation from the 4-yard line. Rodgers out of the end zone throws, buys a lot of bit of space as Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who made that long reception earlier, comes up a little bit short of the first down, 2nd and inches.
And Al, here's the fear if you're a Chicago Bears fan, right? You come out here, you feel like you've got the better team. They played great last year, and Aaron Rodgers just took over the game, right? He did. He just took over the game, right? And he comes out, gets you off the goal line right away. The question is, can Mitch Trubisky do the same thing for the Bears offense?
Well, it took him a minute and a half, though, to turn it around. 2nd and inches. And this will be, well, originally a first. I'll see where they forward progress. They will give it to him. Valdez-Scantling had it and moved back, but forward progress before Fuller makes the tackle. Moves the sticks.
But I think Aaron Rodgers learned his lesson last year with his Bears defense. Doesn't really matter who the defensive coordinator is. Now it's Chuck Pagano. But in that game last year, in the second half, when they really got the turnaround going, it was those quick throws that made the difference.
He was throwing with less time in the pocket than we'd seen in a long time, as Jamal Williams takes it up to the 19-yard line. I know you're of a mind that, Rodgers takes a lot of time and maybe he needs to get rid of the ball more quickly, and he said that to us last night as well.
Well, he's really two different players when you watch him play. He's either the guy that's going to catch it and throw it in about 2 seconds, or he's the guy that's going to try and find that gap. If you rush 4, automatically there's 2 open gaps that he can step up through and try to make big plays, or scramble around and try and get big shots down the field.
And he has seen it all. 2nd and 5. Coming around from the outside is Valdes-Scantling again, and Roy Robertson Harris right there sniffing it out, taking him down back of the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 6.
This is one that they don't block Roy Robertson Harris on purpose, because they think they're going to run right by him here. Unfortunately, nobody gave the memo to Roy Robertson Harris.
Crowd full throat right now. Line of scrimmage, the 19-yard line. Moved Adams to the left. Rodgers dancing, throwing, and it's caught, and that's going to be a first down. So he shifted Adams around, found his main man, tackled there by Amul Kamara, and a first down off a 3rd down and 6.
Well, by sending Adams in motion, he understood exactly what he had on the outside, and there's a good matchup as well. That's Brian Bulaga on that side. Here's Bakhtiari on the other. Protection perfect. And I think Aaron Rodgers is just settling into the game. I don't care what anybody says. You don't play in preseason. You haven't been hit yet. It's a different sort of football game out there. But you can see him now starting to get his vision going down the field, and some of those movements in the pocket now look controlled.
Rodgers, look out. A little dump off here. That's Jamal Williams. You know what, Chris, the thing is that so many of these teams now aren't playing. Forget the starters, the quarterback. I think Goff didn't play a snap in Los Angeles this preseason. Phillip Rivers was in civvies most of the time. It's kind of going around the league.
Yeah, and I think it showed in the first quarter. But Aaron Rodgers now is starting to feel it. That goes down as like a 10-yard difference, either a 7-yard sack or a 3 or 4-yard gain. That was a big play by Aaron.
That's 8 straight completions now for Aaron Rodgers. 7 minutes to the half, and again they sniffed that one out. That's Jamal Williams going nowhere. Roy Robertson Harris is there again. Take a look at that. 2 for 5 in the first quarter, 5 yards, and in triple figures, 8 of 8 with a touchdown here in the second.
Yeah, and Matt LaFleur knew it was going to be a hard left turn for this offense, trying to establish the run. When you have Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback, at some point you have to give your best player a chance to go win the game.
3rd down and 6. They converted their last 3rd and 6. They're showing blitz. Here they come. Rodgers under pressure. They get him. The 25-yard line. Showed blitz. He backed off. They came anyway. You got Roy Robertson Harris having a heck of a half, and Akeem Hicks in there to get him. 4th down.
Yeah, and this is what you're going to do if you're the Chicago Bears. Here comes the blitz from this side, which creates one-on-one for Hicks on the other side. And that's really all you can hope for on defense, is to take your best players and create opportunities for them to battle one-on-one, and they're going to win.
J.K. Scott in for his 4th punt, averaging 47.3. Kicks it away from Cohen, who lets it bounce. It takes a great Green Bay bounce. And that's about 20 yards on the grass, stopping at the 11-yard line. 5.5 to go in the half. 7-3 Packers. Chicago now starts this drive from the 11-yard line. And it's caught by Robinson on the outside, and he stopped at the 20. King makes the tackle. Gain of 9. So Trubisky, we talked about his rookie season, second overall pick, 7 TDs, 7 interceptions, a 77 rating. To last year, 2-to-1 ratio, touchdowns, interception, over 3,000 yards, and 421 with his feet. And that's despite missing 2 games toward the end of the year. 2nd and 1. Shoots it to Davis. Mike Davis, one of the new Bears, to the 27-yard line on the first down with under 5 to play now in the half.
Yeah, we talked to Mitch Trubisky a little bit and asked him what he was hoping to improve upon this year, and he said 2 things really. I want to have great eyes and calm feet. Meaning, basically, when he took off last year, I thought he would tend to tuck the football away and not look down the field the way, say, Aaron Rodgers has. There's a screen pass there, but you've already seen tonight for Trubisky, he likes to stand in that pocket and not just always be thinking about what he's going to do with his legs running with the football.
Into the Pro Bowl last year, one of 8 Bears to go there. Cohen to the outside, and the flag is thrown. He gets around the corner for the moment. To the flag here. Get the call from Tony Correnti.
Holding, offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
It's Kyle Long.
Yeah, old Kyle's a bit of a free spirit there. He's pulling around, and the first contact didn't go so well, and he kind of grabbed the shoulder pad. But this is for the Chicago Bears. They need to get a little something going here. I really thought this offense might take off out here with some of the new weapons. We haven't really seen much from Tariq Cohen. They've gotten a couple of them out there out to Allen Robinson, but there hasn't been a lot really clicking the way that we saw it at the end of the year.
1st and 20. Pretty interesting graphic just popped up, and Trubisky goes down. All season long in the 16 games, they were penalized 12 times last year for holding, already 3 tonight and a half.
Well, for Mitch Trubisky, he just got introduced to the newest member of the Green Bay Packers, Zadarius Smith, and he had 8.5 sacks a year ago with Baltimore. And these 2 outside linebackers have been really good so far here in the first half. Zadarius Smith is a guy with sort of elite quickness. I think he's going to be much more the pass rush threat than will the guy on the other side, Preston Smith. And he has become sort of the unspoken leader of this defense as well. A real edge to him in that defensive locker room.
Clay Matthews no longer there, neither is Nick Perry, so those guys come in free agency as Trubisky fires into traffic. Caught up at the 22-yard line by Cohen. It'll be 3rd down and long. Darnell Savage, the rookie, makes the tackle.
You can see it already. We talked about those quiet feet, and watch him. This is much calmer by Trubisky this year. He's getting his feet set, a lot more on balance. Of course, you talk about all that and you think Aaron Rodgers stood sideways and touchdown pass. So not all rules apply to all quarterbacks.
From any angle. 3rd and 14. Trubisky 8 of 13 for 71 yards. Fires over the middle. Incomplete. Coverage is good, and that's Savage making his presence felt tonight. The rookie out of Maryland. 4th down and 14.
Now you know how he got 8 interceptions a season ago. Watch him. He's just going to sit and then break up hard. He is not worried about anybody running behind him. He was all over that thing. Great play.
Patrick O'Donnell, his 4th punt.
I never had my gun figure.
36-yard line. Patterson tried to upset Davis, but he made the catch. A couple of legendary coaches. Let's listen in.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
We only had 18 players, And I, as head coach, took my life in my hands to take one of those 11 players out. They played both ways, 60 minutes, offense and defense, and they loved the game. That's what made the great game that it is today.
Lombardi and Halas.
Kind of gives you chills just listening to it, doesn't it? Sort of like our outfits tonight.
Yes. I don't think chills is the right description. Get the idea. Handoff here. Staying on his feet is Aaron Jones. And that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go in the half, and Green Bay leading Chicago 7-3. Quarterback comparison there. Rodgers started out ice cold, then hot. And Trubisky 8 out of 14 for 71 yards as that Green Bay defense has done a job. This time last year, Aaron Rodgers had been taken off on a cart and was back in the locker room prior to the half. Right now, he's at the controls on a 2nd down and 7, facing a 4-man rush and throwing deep down the sideline. Incomplete. Good coverage there by Buster Skrine coming over, and he plastered himself to Davante Adams. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
I can't get enough of this matchup over here on the left-hand side when Max going against Bakhtiari over here. Two of the absolute best. You could see his head looking back inside. He looks at Aaron Rodgers no matter who is on the outside of him. He feels like the most important thing to a pass blocker is a quick get off the line of scrimmage. And when you're going against Khalil Mack, it's even more important.
3rd and 7. Blitz coming. Rodgers evades it. Backhand shovel pass, and that's going to be a 1st down to Jamal Williams. You think you have him, he gets out of the pocket, and then he backhands one for a 1st down.
So many times, Aaron Rodgers just has a feel for when the left side is getting collapsed, and he took advantage of it right there.
So no huddle here. Shoots from out to Graham. And takes the ball into Bear territory. Gain of 6 to the 46-yard line.
Al, one of the things that's happening here, and it did on that long drive the Packers had, tempo now is working for the Green Bay Packers. They're getting up, they're getting set, they're getting a play call off. And remember, this defense did not work much together.
Very much so. Knocked down, intended for Adams, and that's Kyle Fuller coming in to bat it. 3rd down and 4. Fuller with 7 interceptions last season.
Yeah, tied for the most, and you can see Kyle Fuller, the only thing he regretted about last year was dropping an early interception in the first game. But look, he is just reading Davante Adams. He was not even looking in there at Aaron Rodgers. He has really turned into something special outside.
Yeah, Fuller dropped a would-be pick on opening night, which probably would have cemented the game for the Bears. Next thing you know, Rodgers throws to Randall Cobb over the middle, and Green Bay wins in stunning fashion. 3rd and 4. Rodgers deep down the left side, and that is incomplete. You have Valdez-Scantling and Geronimo Allison both there. Aaron looks a little exasperated with the way that play ran. It's 4th down and 4. Did they go for it? 55 seconds. So let's get some insight into the mind of Matt LaFleur and how much he wants to gamble against Chuck Pagano's defense. For the moment, they're going to line up to go for it from the 46. 4th and 4. Will they snap it or just try to get him to jump offside? Lots of movement.
False start.
Not much
Offense,
action.
number 12. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Trying to draw him off.
Yeah, that's part of that new rule. They're not going to allow, or at least enforced rule. They're not going to let him, that quarterback, do a lot of different things, and they're clapping the hands, snapping his hands, and trying to get the guys to draw him off.
So the ball at the 46-yard line. So a lot of stuff going on, but it's all stuff. The Bears, who could have declined that penalty, accept it, which means the line of scrimmage is now the 49.
Don't forget, Tariq Cohen had 2 40-yard returns, one in each game against the Packers last year.
To explode tonight, Scott won't have a chance here as Cohen is going to let it bounce again after he called for a fair catch.
He can pick it up.
Yeah,
Cohen
he can pick it up.
Now.
He could have now picked it up, but he did not. It's down there with 43 seconds, and Chicago has the ball. Mike Pettine, the Packers defensive coordinator. Play calls being made, of course, by the head coach of the Bears, Matt Nagy. It was interesting. Nagy kept Vic Fangio after he got the job. Fangio had been on John Fox's staff. And similarly, LaFleur kept Pettine, who'd been on Mike McCarthy's staff. So 2 offensive gurus come in and keep the veteran defensive coordinators. Pettine's unit doing a great job tonight. Bears have only 98 yards. A little swing pass to Patterson. He steps out of bounds after a short gain.
Yeah, and the reason they keep those veteran defensive coordinators is essentially, if you're the play caller as a head coach, you don't have time really to be the head coach. I mean, I don't want to over exaggerate that, but you better have somebody really strong on the other side of the ball. And so far, Mike Pettine's defense, they've made a ton of changes. There's probably 6 new starters out there on this defense, and they have looked tremendous thus far in this half.
Very much like the Rams with Sean McVay coming in, and they handed the defense over to Wade Phillips, and that's worked out well. Trubisky rolling away from pressure, and he'll go out of bounds to stop the clock. And it's going to be 3rd down and long with only 31 seconds left in the half.
I tell you, I like the move there by Trubisky, but I thought he had Allen Robinson sort of in between defenders with a chance. And when you get a receiver that tall, just throw it on the boundary there, and if it goes out of bounds, who cares? But there was plenty of room there to make a play. He did that a little bit last year in the first game as well. He just didn't see a few open guys when he created some space for himself to try and find an open receiver.
And that last shot proved it. You can see Robinson in the picture now, a little dump to Davis. And Davis will be taken down to the 16-yard line. The ball comes out, but after he was down, crowd, the Boo Birds are out. It's 4th down.
Yeah, now you've got a problem. Now you've got to kick this thing back.
Green Bay, second.
And Green Bay takes a timeout. So among the things with LaFleur is he ripped his Achilles tendon, and he doesn't have that much mobility, but right now he does have mobility. He's out on the field talking to the officials. Wanted that timeout, I think, a little bit earlier, and they put 2 more seconds back on the clock. So 24 for a guy with a ripped Achilles in May. He's moving around very well.
He said, I haven't been quite as disciplined with rehab as I probably should be. He's been a little busy here, but now you're giving Aaron Rodgers a chance to put up some points with that quick series.
5th punt for O'Donnell, 10th punt in the game overall.
Don't touch it.
There you go. 34-yard line with 15 seconds.
That was a bad play there, man. They really should have let that ball bounce around a little bit.
So, of course, Aaron Rodgers, among other things, is the king of the Hail Mary.
If they do go to Hail Mary, the way that they like to do it is they'll have David Bakhtiari, their left tackle, kick out way wide, and the defensive end is always tempted to go inside because he gives it to him. Rodgers will spin out this way and throw it down the field.
If he can get about 25 or 30 yards, he'd set himself up for a field goal. At least the opportunity. Four-man rush. Goes it over the middle. Graham. And Graham takes it to the 50-yard line. They have a timeout here. Leaped over Eddie Jackson. 7 seconds. So through the years, go back, Aaron Rodgers, the king of the Hail Mary. This one was against the Lions Thursday night back in 2015. Bingo. Next one was in Arizona in a playoff game. He had the double Hail Mary at the end of that game, only to be eclipsed by Larry Fitzgerald getting the ball in overtime. This fabled one in Green Bay. So he's done it time and again.
Well, this one will not be Hail Mary, I don't think. He's looking to get about 15 yards here and kick a field goal out of this one.
Put 2 more seconds on the clock, but they do not have a timeout. Rolling and looking downfield, and he's going to launch it toward the end zone. It's going to be a little bit short and batted from the 2-yard line. And that is the way the first half culminates on opening night. And Chicago will get the ball as we start the second half. Patterson, let's go, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Matt LaFleur told me the Packers' first 3 drives were, quote, terrible, and that the defense kept them in it until that big throw by Aaron Rodgers turned things around. But he said, we've got to run it in the second half. He was adamant, we have to be balanced. We have to. As for Matt Nagy, he said his offense just isn't in rhythm. They need to play within their system, avoid penalties, and on this drive right now, put something good together, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Clearly, Michelle is channeling Barbara Stanwyck.
I think she looks great.
I agree. From the 25-yard line, Chicago will start this drive on the ground, and Montgomery breaking a tackle at first, but then gets swallowed up. No gain.
Well, there's no question that for Mitch Trubisky, he is at his best when he catches the football and gets it out of his hands. This is when this offense really begins to flash. The RPOs, the quick throws, and it was last year as well. So time to throw under 2.5 seconds. Look at the numbers, nearly perfect.
Single.
They go 5 wide on a 2nd down and 10. 4-man Packer rush. And that may have been tipped and incomplete. He got jostled, intended for Wims. 3rd and 10. You know, you made a great point this week, Chris. I thought, you know, Trubisky's a rookie, comes in, getting his feet wet last year, makes some strides. Now he's like the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, well, you know, it works that way because now in his 2nd year of the offense with Nagy, you know, you learn it, and quarterbacks spend 100 times more than linemen or receivers or whatever studying the offense. So pretty soon people are asking him questions and going, what do you think? What do I do if? And that sort of naturally leads to more of a leadership role.
Bears converted their first 3rd down, but since then they're 0 for their last 6. With a pump fake here, and they will not convert this one either. Mike Davis makes the catch. Crowd getting frustrated. Run out by Williams, and it's 4th down.
You know, Al, this is no accident. I mean, this is the defense of the Green Bay Packers getting this thing done. Darnell Savage, Adrian Amos has added some real leadership on back end. Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, all really good players who are really making a difference right now on this defense.
Trevor Davis back. Calls for a fair catch off the punt. And Rodgers will go back to work when we come back to Soldier Field. So Padma, our producer Fred Godelli came up with an idea. Why don't we pick our Mount Rushmore every week of one of the teams in the game, coaches or players. We go with George Halas, Sid Luckman, the quarterback, Dick Butkus, and Walter Payton was a no-brainer. Halas, of course, coached the team for 40 years in 4 10-year increments. You know, you look at the Chicago Bears, and we could have picked any number. I could put Bronco Nagurski in there, right?
We almost got divorced over this one.
Oh, careful.
Mike Ditka not being on there, I still can't get. I just, no way.
Well,
Hall of Fame player, led him to the Super Bowl as a coach.
Right.
Come on.
Right. But, you know, the Chicago Tribune had their top 100. And, you know, Luckman was number 5 in that poll. Ditka, with all due respect to Mike, we love Mike, was number 11.
Arguably the greatest football team of all time, that '85 Bears team.
Right.
Hall of Fame player. There's nobody that's ever done that combination.
I threw my body over Luckman, though, because here's the guy who played 1,000,000 years ago and still holds a lot of passing records, which speaks to a lot of Chicago quarterbacks subsequent to that. Rodgers throws, and that's incomplete. Intended for Davante Adams.
Just goes to show who the real boss is around here.
Not really. I traded 2 picks to you. Flag down. Correnti says holding. Looks over at Nagy.
Holding. Offense number 69. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
It's David Bakhtiari, one of the best left tackles in the league. Flagged here.
Tell you what, though, David Bakhtiari had a heck of a first half when Khalil Mack was lined up over him. He got no pressures out of that. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're looking for a little help. There's the hold right in there, grabbing that jersey. Good call.
Second down and 17 now. Bakhtiari out of Colorado in his 7th year in the league. Five wide. Rodgers deep downfield. There's all kinds of contact, and it's a flag thrown. Jimmy Graham got tangled up. You had Roquan Smith, the linebacker, as fast as they come back there with him, and the flag comes in, and it's going to go against the Bears.
That was a pretty easy call.
Pass interference. Defense number 58. Ball is placed at the spot of the foul. And an automatic first down.
Well, Terry McCauley is our rules analyst. And Terry, got to get you into the show here.
Thanks very much, Al. Clearly pass interference, not playing the ball, significantly hinders the receiver right there. Defensive pass interference.
Some of your best stuff, man.
They should all be that easy, Terry.
I wish they were.
Yeah. From the 35. After a 38-yard penalty, and Rodgers has to throw that one away.
Yeah,
and they're going to say
outside the tackle box.
That's Roy Robertson Harris, who's really been a pest tonight.
Outside the pocket, threw the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. Second down.
We'll draw in that tackle box to see what we're talking about.
It was relatively close because remember Rodgers starts to his right, and now let's see. Yeah. It was close, wasn't it, Terry?
It's right on the edge, and when he's on the edge like that, they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because they don't have the lines like we have in our replay.
Especially if it's Aaron Rodgers.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, okay. Boy. Second down and 10. I will.
Timeout. No. Green Bay, they're first.
All right.
30-second timeout.
Let's talk a little bit about David Bakhtiari, one of the best, if not the best, pass blocking tackles in all of football. Look at him looking all the way back in at Aaron Rodgers. Why does he do that? Because he thinks the most important part of playing left tackle is the get off. Who gets off the ball first? Watch this. He's going to make this first step before Mack even moves. That is really the key to what he can do. His ability to stay in front of some of the very best pass rushers in the league has just made him invaluable to Aaron Rodgers.
So second down and 10. And that's a nice grab made here by Lewis. You know, on the subject of Bakhtiari, we were with him yesterday. You talk about offensive linemen kind of in their own little cocoon, the 5 guys up front. We said to him, how'd you feel when Rodgers gets carted off the field last year? In Green Bay, said I didn't even see it.
You didn't even know.
Yeah, I knew that Kaiser was in the game. I mean, we're kind of doing our thing. We're figuring out how to protect Kaiser. Had a run block. Didn't even see it.
Yeah, welcome to football. He's worried about blocking that pass rusher over there.
3rd and 5.
Singled up for Davante Adams at the top of the screen if he wants him.
That shoulder shake. There goes Rodgers. Scrambles, ball down. Ball is out. It's still alive, and there's a flag on the play. And meanwhile, Green Bay has recovered it to begin with. And it's Ha-Ha Clinton-Dix, his old teammate, who gets in there. But you got a flag down back at the 33-yard line.
Fumble on the play was recovered by Green Bay. However, holding offense number 63, 10-yard penalty, repeat third down.
That's the center, Corey Linsley. So they'll march it back, and that will make it third down and 15.
They're really moving Khalil Mack around now. It was his pressure inside that made the difference on that play and forced Rodgers to step up. Now you're in that sort of in-between area here. Yes, you'd love to have a first down, but you'd really like to have about 7 to 10 yards to make this a viable field goal.
Green Bay 2 of 7 on third down tonight. Rodgers sacked, 47-yard line. That's Leonard Floyd bursting through to take him down and make it fourth down and 1,000,000.
If there's one weakness to Bakhtiari's game, it is this. By looking so far back inside, a good bull rush sometimes can take him right back into Rodgers. So now it wasn't Mack. It ends up being Leonard Floyd with a big play. And you have to blame a little bit Jamal Williams. I think he was supposed to be there to help on that block.
It's 4 sacks tonight. All 4 sacks against Rodgers have come on third down. Last year he was sacked an average of 3 times a game. Scott. Fair catch called for, made, 10-yard line. Tariq Cohen. Early third quarter on opening night in Soldier Field, 7-3. Chicago now begins this drive from deep in their own territory, and Mike Davis through the middle for a gain of about 8.
You know, it's one of the things about Mike Davis coming over here is just simply how they've been able to incorporate these 3 different backs into the game. Mike Davis really is the best of the pass blockers. Takes over for Jordan Howard.
And trying to pick up the first down is Davis. As they go without a huddle here, just trying to change the pace, change the tempo, and maybe it's time for Matt Nagy to go into that big bag of tricks that he has.
He has a few of them, but the best way to get to a bag of tricks in football is to run the football. If you can run the ball and begin to establish, we've got to come down and focus down inside, that's when you get some of those tricky big play opportunities.
Third down inches. Ball at the 19. And Trubisky is going to get taken down short of the first down, so he can't get out of the backfield. Preston Smith was in there, and then Kenny Clark came in, and the crowd letting the Bears have it.
Yeah, they had a bit of a trick play on. They were going to try and get a quick one out here to Shaheen in the flat, but it just was covered up immediately, had nowhere to go, and it's going to lead to a sack. He almost stumbled his way out of it.
So with a little over 9 minutes to go in the third. McDonald's leg is very loose. That's his 7th punt of the night. This one is a very short one that bounced out of bounds near midfield. 9:01 to go, and Green Bay up by 4 in Chicago. On the 42-yard line, this drive begins now with Aaron Jones. He's not done a lot tonight. The guy who averaged 5.5 per carry over the last 2 years has 5 carries for 6 yards. There's been no running game to speak of for Green Bay.
Well, when you get Akeem Hicks on the same side as Khalil Mack, I'm trying something else. That's tough. He just stuffed that one.
No huddle. By the way, they changed the call. The call originally on Corey Linsley to Bakhtiari on that holding call last drive. So Bakhtiari has 2 holds tonight, as many as he had all of last season. Rodgers on 2nd and 10. Look out again. Get him by the shirt. Down he goes. Slams the ball to the ground. That's Aaron Lynch who gets in there that time, and that is 5 sacks for that Bear defense.
Well, this RPO is supposed to happen quicker than this. And so he's going to come up the field, Lynch. Tanyan's going to come across here and block him, but there's no way he's going to block him for that long. So when it turned into a scramble drill, really no chance whatsoever.
Now 3rd and 15.
Your defense is playing so great, you don't want a big mistake here.
And there won't be a big mistake here. Valdez-Scantling has to come back to make the catch. Khalil Mack had him cornered and covered. And it's 4th down, and it's a punt fest right now. Scott's coming out for his 7th punt. O'Donnell's already booted it 7 times.
Yeah, and the problem has been for Chicago on offense, they've had 8 drives, 4 of them have started inside the 15-yard line. So this field position game, I know, can be a little not so exciting, right? But it is a game, and the way the offenses are playing right now, and I think in part because they didn't get a lot of work in the preseason, that it's important, so they keep playing it.
And Scott. Angle kick. Cohen fields at the 19. Comes back toward the middle. Cannot escape. Corral him at the 23. Jamal Williams down there to make the tackle with 6.5 left in the 3rd. Green Bay 7, Chicago 3. This drive begins now at the 23. This is the 9th Chicago drive. They've had 7 punts and a field goal. Play action. Has time. Throws. And coming back to make the catch, the 45, is Allen Robinson. So Robinson got position, exploited it. It's gained at 22 yards.
Boy, that was some throw. That was some execution right there. Watch this play down the field. I think Robinson was actually past Tony Brown and still got the back shoulder. He had to come back past him the other way, but Trubisky just believes right there. A little fadeaway jumper right on the money.
4 catches, 63 yards for Allen Robinson.
Hey, easy. 4 domino.
Adrian Amos came up.
I think the Bears have 10 guys on the field right now, and what do we have
Delay
here?
the game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
A quick count on that play. Might have been minus a guy. Here we go. And there you go. Somebody got red flag. 1st and 15. Back now at the 40-yard line. Patterson is the man in motion. Ghost motion there. Wide open, making the catch at the 35-yard line. That's David Montgomery. We talked about his prowess breaking tackles. He's also a great receiver, and the Bears are rushing up to the line of scrimmage.
That was something else. We saw this young man, David Montgomery, in practice make a brilliant catch yesterday, and we were talking to Matt Nagy about it the day after, and he said, "Oh, you think that one was good? You should have seen the one he did yesterday. It was one for the ages." So I think that was part of the secret weapon. They didn't really want out, didn't want people to know about David Montgomery.
They rushed up to the line of scrimmage, but now huddle and go more conventionally, and Tariq Cohen hasn't played that much tonight offensively. They've got that 3-headed situation with Davis and Montgomery and Cohen. And for Tariq Cohen tonight, that's 4 catches, but for only 22 yards.
But you know, Al, this is where it gets tough when you haven't played much football together. I'm talking about tackle football, not in practice. When you start getting inside the red zone, everything changes. The defense gets condensed. It's like a completely separate offense. Usually the Bears very good down here.
2nd down and 5. Trubisky throwing. Robinson is there, but no, he's out of bounds. Tramon Williams covering on the play, so he was there. Throw not bad, but forced out.
Just a brilliant play by Tramon Williams. He knew exactly where he was on the field. All he had to do is keep him from getting both feet down, so he just shoves him. Didn't care if he caught it or not. No way he was getting it down. Great play.
13th year in the league. Williams knows every trick. 3rd down and 5.
Hey, run!
Play clock to 0, and they're going to get another delay of game here. That's 2.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
2 on this drive.
Now, this is what you lose when you don't play in preseason. It just is. All the little things. Okay, there was a miscommunication. It took a little extra time to get the play clock in. Trubisky's got to get used to looking at the clock. Just all the little things to execute an offense. Now, instead of being 3rd and 5, and you've got everything available to you, now you're sort of, you know, it's a whole different scheme here. Those are big mistakes they're making.
Robinson, one-on-one on the left side. Wants 3 receivers to the right on 3rd down and 10. It's coming. Trubisky fires, and that's out of bounds as well. Intended for Cordero Patterson. So Trubisky now 14 of 23 for 129 yards. Ball at the 33, 4th and 10. So you want to bring Pinheiro in for what would be a 51 or 52 yarder, or go for it, and they'll go for it.
That was a huge missed opportunity right there. They had an open receiver for a 1st down, and they just blew that play.
And the delay of game turns a 46-yard attempt into a 51, so they'll go for it. 4th and 10, and Trubisky under pressure gets tripped and stopped at the 28-yard line, and they'll turn the ball over. Crowd with such incredible anticipation, booing like crazy. Meanwhile, you got a fight on the field right now. You got a fight on the 45-yard line going on. And they break up that scrum as you look at Trubisky again. You have a little skirmish there. It's actually more than a little at first. Got Devontae Adams and 4 Bears. Now 5. Martinez was involved as well. Raven Green 2. So they turn it over on downs, and Green Bay has it at the 30-yard line. Trying to stretch it out, and then he cuts it back inside to Jones, his best run of the night by far. Tackled by Clinton Dix, the former Packer, came over from Washington. 2nd and 2.
Here is this offense. This is what it's supposed to be. And then one cut here. Outside zone. Everybody moving together out there. And then you just leave it to a back like Aaron Jones to find that hole. He is a blazer. So if he gets an opportunity to get loose in the secondary, he can take it 70 yards in a hurry.
3rd year for Jones out of Texas El Paso. Here he goes again. A burst and another 1st down. So an 8-yard gain followed by another 8-yard gain. It's 1st and 10.
I think Matt LaFleur is finally breathing again. He has 2 outside zones work back to back. This is the basics of this offense. I wouldn't be surprised at all here after he has 2 successful runs. He doesn't come back on 1st down, either a bootleg or a play action pass right here.
LaFleur, 39 years old, 6th job in 9 years. Came up under both Mike and Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, and last year the offensive coordinator in Tennessee under Mike Vrabel. Just taking his time. snaps it at 1. 2-yard gain. Who was it that told us, Chris, last couple of days that if you shake hands with Sean McVay, you'll be a head coach?
We won't give that one up, but he plays quarterback for one of these two teams.
He does.
And why not?
Yeah.
It's what Sean McVay's been doing.
Yep. And Jones now comes out. He's in pain, and Jamal Williams comes in. 2nd down and 8, and the pass is caught, and that's another first down. It's Davante Adams taking the ball into Packer territory. Gain of 10. Rodgers tonight 16-24, so that's 67% for 147 and that 1 touchdown pass. Khalil Mack has not been a game wrecker tonight, as he is so often. Little toss here. Williams goes nowhere. Eddie Jackson bursts through the traffic to get to him. 2nd and long.
Well, Eddie Jackson's simply been one of the better players in the league. Here he comes out of center field and just times this one up perfectly to get in the mix. But what he did in coverage last year was really just phenomenal. 6 interceptions, and you just have to wonder what would have happened with this Bears team in the playoffs if he had not hurt his ankle for the last couple and then missed the playoff game.
2nd and 12, final minute of the 3rd quarter. They go 5 wide, and we've got a flag here for a false start.
False start. Offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
2nd down and 17 now. Rodgers rolling and just dumps it off incomplete. And now you got Rodgers going down and all kinds of pushing and shoving. That's Hicks who knocked him to the turf, and of course that offensive line will come to Aaron's defense in a heartbeat.
Akeem Hicks hasn't been a huge factor in this one so far, but he got his hands on number 12, and there you go. This is such an important game. I mean, really, the Bears sort of figure to be the team to beat, but you still have to try to beat Aaron Rodgers to win this division, and here the Packers have a chance to come in here and steal one. They can come out of here on opening night.
The Packers, if they win this one, these guys have 5 of their next 6 at home, including the next 3. Their only road game over that stretch is at Dallas. Everything else at Lambeau. This would be huge for them. 3rd and 17. Rodgers jitterbugging, extending as he does. Flag is thrown, and he's going to rifle one deep downfield that will be incomplete. Amukamara and Graham. Amukamara wanted offensive pass interference, but it's all about the flag now.
Holding, offense number 75. This penalty is declined. Result of the play creates 4th down. That is the end.
Brian
of
Bulaga, the penalty,
quarter.
into the 3rd. Green Bay 7, Chicago 3. This kickoff special continues after these messages. This play resumes. It is a punt situation for the Packers. Punt number 8 for J.K. Scott. And once again, Tariq Cohen has had very little opportunities to run the kickback tonight. Calls for and makes the fair catch at the 14-yard line. Talking about the schedules upcoming. So Green Bay on the left here. Minnesota next week. Denver and Philadelphia all at Lambeau. Go to Dallas week 5. Week 6, Detroit. Week 7, they're still at home against the Raiders. So that's 5 of the next 6. Meanwhile, Chicago at Denver next week, at Washington. Come back against Minnesota, go to Oakland, and their bye week comes in week 6. So if LaFleur wins this one and goes home for 5 of the next 6, they're in decent early shape.
as long as they start scoring some points.
You got it. From the 13-yard line. Trubisky goes to nowhere. Goes to the bench. Goes to his tight end, Broniker. But unfortunately, he wasn't in the lineup at that point. 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, it's one of the problems when you run some of this play action stuff. They were faking the outside zone away, and Mike Pettin brought a slot blitz off the other side, and really no choice but to get rid of it here. See it coming in right here from the side. All the offensive linemen going one way, and that was not that hard for Darnell Savage to get some pressure.
First-round rookie out of Maryland's had a nice game. 2nd down and 10. Trubisky fires over the middle. Caught. Robinson picks up a 1st down, and that's going to create a flag. No doubt about that. That's Tramon Williams who took him out of bounds by the neck, costing him 15.
After the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit, number 38 defense. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. Automatic 1st down.
Tramon Williams going to get picked off just a little bit here as he tries to weave his way through some traffic of Blake Martinez. But then this is pretty easy here. Maybe first contact inbounds, but all of that way out of bounds.
Out to the 42 they come now. Trubisky on a roll. Fires down the sideline, and that is hauled in. Taylor Gabriel making the catch.
Man, what a good catch that was. And throw two. Trubisky on the run. Fires a bullet in there. And there's Alexander all over him. Sticks his hands out. Gets stripped on the back end of that and just hangs on to it. This Bears team only had 10 drop passes all of last season. Best in the NFL. They have been so much more consistent. They completely remade that wide receiver room. Made a huge difference.
Line of scrimmage the 43. And it's possible that Green Bay is going to challenge. Correni going over with LaFleur whether he can
Green Bay
challenge.
is challenging the ruling on the field that there was no offensive pass interference.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, we'll go to replay. Terry, give us your analysis here.
Yeah, he's thinking that the receiver pushed off at the top of the route here. So we're going to have to see clear and obvious visual evidence that he's significantly hindered. You see him stick his arm out. He doesn't really separate with it, though. I don't think this is going to be enough to create a foul on this play.
Totally agree.
No, if that's clear and obvious, I'm an astronaut. I mean, what are we talking about here?
Mr. Armstrong, how are you?
I'm fantastic. But LaFleur challenges. LaFleur, because of his limited mobility, because of the Achilles tear, actually has a guy on the staff now who will run down the field if they want to call a timeout, like at the 10-yard line. But I can't imagine this one gets overturned here. So in preseason, with this new rule, they called 15 on the field, reversed none. Not called 39. Created in replay 7, so they upheld 32. Al Riveron, the head of officiating, will decide at the end what is what. So clearly, in the call on the field, they did not pick up a flag, so he was going to stand by his men.
Yeah. Let's take a look here at this thing one more time. It was a pretty play. Got a little run game started. A little push, yeah.
A little push and a little grab.
A little push and a little grab. That's football.
And it happened right in front of the Green Bay bench, so LaFleur had a real good view of it, but to no avail, we don't think.
Didn't Matt say he didn't think he was going to challenge any of those pass interference calls?
He sort of, but that's happened right in front of him. It's a big play.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as no pass interference. Completed pass, 1st down. Green Bay will be charged.
Well, that's the most significant thing about that is you're charged with a timeout, and they only have one remaining. They have one challenge. They only have one timeout in a 4-point game heading down the stretch.
I think the general rule this year is going to be if it is really obvious, they might change it. I think you're going to hear the word stand a whole lot when it comes to pass interference challenges.
Look, this was all created by that one play in the Super Bowl. Real simple. The egregious
championship.
Incorrect call. The NFC Championship game, not the Super Bowl, and that pass is
might be.
That could be right there. As they're going to say it's incomplete after all of that. Tony Brown involved in the play, and you've got Gabriel. Meanwhile,
holding offense number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
On top of all that, it's Charles Leno. And there was Savage. But all this means nothing after the holding call.
I got to tell you, I'm amazed at the number of calls that are that close that officials get right. You know, I mean, really, when I saw it, I said that might be an interception right there, but give them credit.
So now first down and 20. Bear 47 over the middle. Flag is thrown. Cohen makes the catch. And another flag. And this one's against the Bears. They are starting to self-destruct here.
Looks like a hands to the face by James Daniels, who switched with Cody Whitehair center and guard positions this year for the Bears.
Wants to see what the Packers want to do.
Illegal
with
use of the hands to the face. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Okay. That's going to make it first and 30.
Here we go. We'll look on the outside at Leno. Right there. Don't have to look any farther than that. I'll tell you, there was another one inside. There are multiple fouls.
First down and 30. And Trubisky avoids a sack for the moment. Then he launches one deep downfield into traffic, and it's going to be caught at the 15-yard line by Taylor Gabriel.
But a flag
and
down.
Another flag is down.
They're going to say
it's going to be it's 50 yards for the moment, but now they're coming back.
Yeah, that looked offensive.
They're coming back.
Pass interference. Offense, number 18. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
He and Cohen were down there on in the fire drill after Trubisky avoided a sack, got away, and it's pass interference on Gabriel.
You know, first of all, there you go. Full arms extended, little push. Terry, you feel good about that one?
Yeah, that one's a foul. Clear and obvious contact that significantly hinders the defensive player on this play.
But let's say this, for Mitch Trubisky, that's what he can do. I mean, he set that up. That was a heck of a fight on his part. And if you just don't put both hands on his back and push, but Taylor Gabriel, not the biggest guy in the world. This is first and 365 yards.
First and 40. So how many plays do you have in the book for this one? They start by trying to pick up a little bit, and it's dropped there by Cohen. Tariq Cohen starting to look upfield, trying to make something happen. Second down and 40.
This drive started on the 43-yard line, or this sequence did, and they were essentially getting close to field goal range anyway. I mean, this is a disaster, this drive.
The whole drive started back at the 13, and then they got out of trouble. Then you had that personal foul call on Williams. Now they're at midfield. And since then, going backwards on a second down and 40 now. Four-man rush. Trubisky fires over the middle, and that is off the hands of Allen Robinson. Trubisky now 16 of 28 for 158, and it's third and 40.
Tell you what, this is dangerous time right now. There aren't many plays you're going to pick up this first down. I'm not saying you have to hand the ball off here, but a little screen, a little, it's just, you don't want to lose the game right here either.
Green Bay used to play on 6 defensive backs that did it a ton last year. They have 7 guys back there, 4 up front. They do throw a little screen out here to Gabriel. And he gets up to the 36-yard line. Woo. Man, oh man. The crowd is bringing it right now.
Well, they're double doinking them right now.
You made that call that will live in infamy.
This has been a slightly unusual game. Would you agree?
I would agree 1,000%.
The defense is playing great, but these offenses are not right.
Good booming punt. Bearcats called for at the 11-yard line by Trevor Davis. Is a flag down at the 39-yard line. So that was a 53-yard boot. We have had 8 penalties on each team tonight.
After the game, the 2 punters are going to be in the ice tank.
Man, I'm telling you. And this is going to be against the
During the kick,
Packers.
Personal foul, blindside block, receiving team number 38. This penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
11:48 left in regulation. 4-point game. All right, this drive beginning at the 6-yard line for the Green Bay Packers. And stuffed just about at the line of scrimmage is Aaron Jones. Second down. Clinton Dix with the stop.
Well, the Packers are winning this game despite being 2 for 10 on third down, because the Bears are 1 for 11 on third down. There have not been conversions. There has not been sharp plays in the passing game. And in many ways, this sequence right here, if the Bears defense can force them to kick out of their own end zone, could flip this game.
Meanwhile, Davante Adams just limped off the field. And Trevor Davis is in there right now. Off the play fake, hard play fake. Pass is caught at the 24-yard line. And that is Davis, who came into the game because Adams limped off the field. So Trevor Davis comes in and makes his first catch of the night, and it's good for 28 yards. Adams back in.
Just a huge hole in this zone defense. The hard play fake that time by Aaron Rodgers sucked up the linebackers, and there was nobody home in the middle of the field.
Rodgers out to the 35. 10.5 left in the fourth. Over the right side. Jones for a couple. Tackled by Mack. 2nd and 8.
Yeah, it's a different look for the Green Bay Packers on offense. There weren't many times that you watch these guys play with 2 tight ends on the field. And one of the things that Aaron Rodgers talks about is that this is an offense that has a lot of options built into it. So whenever all the conversation about is he going to audible out of plays and all that kind of stuff, said the audibles are built into the thing. And the one time that they're really not as much is when they're in the 2 tight end set as they are right now.
2nd down and 8. And delay of game here.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
And remains 2nd down. 2nd down and 13. 10 penalties for 71 yards now against the Packers.
Regardless, that play that got him off the goal line with the way that the Packers defense is playing will loom large.
We've had 9 sacks in the game, no turnovers. 2nd down, 13. Rodgers throws before he crosses the line of scrimmage, and to the 40-yard line goes Robert Tonyan, number 3 tight end, makes his first catch of the night, and that takes the ball for 28 yards. There's Rodgers clearly behind the line of scrimmage to the Chicago 40-yard line.
But that's when Rodgers is great right there. When he can attack downhill like that and draw the linebacker underneath coverage, forcing him to come up and play Rodgers in the run, you end up with wide open receivers in behind it.
The pump fake along the way too. At the 40 now. Rodgers using the clock. Rolls the other way. Lots of time. Checks it down. Short passes intended for Lewis. Mercedes Lewis. And it's incomplete. 2nd and 10.
It's really a great read here by Leonard Floyd on the outside. He's going to see what looks like an inside zone block coming at him. And then when he sees it, he's just going to peel off on Mercedes Lewis, who's lost about 15 pounds out here. But that coverage, that ability to cover up that hole in that defense, that was a huge play.
2nd and 10. Toss. Jones. Nice bit of running there to pick up 7 yards. Roquan Smith makes the tackle. 3rd down and 4. Of course, every 3rd down now becomes really big. Clock ticking down. Can they take more time off the clock? Right now they come up to the line in a hurry. Snap it quickly. And then Rodgers under pressure is going to get sacked at the 40-yard line. And there's a flag down. Rodgers pointed. The flag is downfield. It involves the receivers down at about the 19-yard line on the near side. So that would be a 6th sack of Rodgers pending the outcome here. And
it looked like Devontae Adams kind of got hooked right here on this double move. Yeah.
That's Kyle Fuller. Little sidebar going on here.
Illegal contact, defense number 23. 5-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
Okay. So, Terry, when they have that conversation there, I mean, it looked pretty obvious. What are they talking about?
They're talking about whether the quarterback got out of the pocket or not when the contact occurred. They came up with it. He did not. It's also defensive holding, so they could have gone that way, and it wouldn't matter whether the quarterback was out of the pocket or not.
All right. So it's 1st down now. Geronimo Allison, they only have 10 guys in the huddle, so he comes in to complete the play here. 2 seconds on the clock. Through the middle, nothing happening there. Jamal Williams tackled by Eddie Goldman. 2nd down and 10.
This Eddie Goldman is really one of the better run defenders in all of football, and he just had no problem at all with Lane Taylor on that one. Just pushes him aside and makes a form tackle in the backfield. Those arms extended, and there he is. He's been doing that for a long time for this defense. He and Akeem Hicks, 2 of the better guys in the league, as far as trying to stop the run.
2nd and 10. Jamal Williams is the back. Give it to him, and he gets stuffed in the backfield. Roquan Smith comes bursting through to take him to the ground for a loss of 1. 3rd down and 11.
This is the difference in Roquan Smith this year. He's just reading everything so much faster than he did a season ago. And before Taylor could turn back around, made the play in the backfield.
3rd down, make it 12. If they don't gain a yard, you'd be looking at about a 49-yard field goal for Crosby. Rodgers milking that clock. Stepping up. Has room. There he goes, but he's going to be stopped short at the 20-yard line. A yard short of the 1st down. Floyd is there. So 4th down, a much easier field goal attempt now for Crosby. But who knows? Maybe they want to go for it here. 4th down. 4th and 2. And now they send in the field goal unit.
Yeah, I think that one you have to do this, right?
Yeah, at this point, I mean, it's 5.5 to go.
If it had been a yard, it's maybe a little different story here, too.
Anyway, that turned what would have been a 49-yard attempt into a 39-yard attempt for one of the best in the league for years. And Mason Crosby puts that one through the uprights with 5:15 to go in the 4th, and the Green Bay Packers leading 10-3. A bouncing ball, and Patterson will down it in the end zone, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Al, today Virginia McCaskey is 96 years and 8 months old to the day. And as she's been around this rivalry all her life, I asked her if it still energizes her. She said, yes, I have to admit it does. I don't cry as much as I used to. I used to be a mess after losses. And Al, she calls this rivalry intense, serious, and very, very important in the division. I just wonder how energized she is by this performance tonight, however.
Yeah, that has to be a little dispiriting for her, Michelle, and for the crowd, because the crowd's been all over the Bears. And, well, 10 possessions, 9 punts. In the 25, that's caught. Cohen gains about 6. Martinez stops him as the clock ticks down to 5 minutes to go in regulation, and the Bears will go without a huddle.
Well, we saw Mitch Trubisky turn it on in the 4th quarter against the Eagles in that playoff game. Let's see if he can do it again.
Goes, and that's caught, and that's Robinson, and he should have the first down. Forward progress gets him out to the 35 and a couple of inches. Stopped by Savage. First down. Nagy sending in the plays. To the outside. That is caught out there by Mike Davis. Short gain.
You know, he's really interesting when you talk to the Bears about Mike Davis. Mike Davis is a guy that probably not many people knew much about. He was with Seattle, good receiver out there, and they really feel like as a route runner, he's the one guy that probably does the best job of creating separation. Shoe comes off there. I'm sure he'll be back in soon.
Second down and 5. Montgomery comes back into the backfield. Two receivers set to the left. Here comes Savage on a blitz. Gets it away to Tariq Cohen. Stays in bounds for a nice little gain here. First down.
Nice play call right there because they timed it up. They got the corner blitz coming off the edge and leaves them 2-on-2 blocking out here for this without any support whatsoever. So really perfectly timed play call. Unfortunate for them that it didn't end up something even bigger than that.
Nice little block there by Taylor Gabriel. Ball at the 49-yard line. With 4:20 left. Bears have all of their timeouts. Trubisky. That jostled, I think, hit Za'Darius Smith. Put the pressure on. It's second down and 10.
Yeah, now you get into a tough situation. Now you've got a new center in the game, and the center is the one that often has to make those line calls. And Mike Pettine, the one thing that he does a great job of is he'll make you believe that the blitz is coming one way. The center will call to turn the center that way to help with protection, and all of a sudden they drop out and the blitz comes from the other way. Second down and long is when he can dial some blitzes up.
Remember, the Bears flipped Daniels and Whitehair at guard and center. So Daniels now doing the snapping. Blitz comes again. Trubisky throws deep down the right sideline. And is that catch made at the 27? Yes! Gabriel.
This is close.
Yeah, they want to get up as fast as they can, so there's no challenge here. Really close. They say, whoa, baby.
I don't think so.
24 yards.
Challenge is out.
Oh, yeah, the challenge flag is definitely out. And that's their second and final challenge. And Terry, your initial analysis is?
It looks like he only has the left foot down when he gains control of the football. And then the rear end and elbow come down out of bounds. Incomplete pass.
Right.
Green Bay is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
Well, it was 2nd and 10. If they don't win this, it's 3rd and 10.
After review, the ruling on the field will be changed. It is an incomplete pass. It will now be Chicago's ball, 3rd down and 10 at the 49-yard line.
All right, the only thing, of course, is that Green Bay's now out of challenges, but that won't matter in another 2 minutes and 11 seconds. At this point, 3rd down and 10 now, back to the 49-yard line. And only a 3-man rush this time. 8 drop back. And the pass is caught at the 35-yard line. Robinson, big-time play, takes it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Gain there of 21 on a 3rd and 10.
It's really a great throw down inside. The 3-man pass rush afforded Trubisky the time to sit and wait. Those deep crossing routes take a little time, but as those vertical routes take hold, there are always gaps in behind.
At the 30, 7 catches, 102 yards now for Allen Robinson. Trubisky dancing, jostled, gets it away. And they pick up a couple of yards here, does Mike Davis. Clock ticking, 3:20. Chicago has all of its timeouts, plus the 2-minute warning.
Al, on opening night, this is a time when you're really tired. You're not, these guys haven't played at all in actual games, and so now it is really a gut check.
And it's crunch time. And the catch is made at the 22-yard line. That's Cohen holding it in, and upcoming right now is a very large 3rd and 2.
You got to think they're going for it no matter what here, right?
Goes out of huddle. Cohen sets up outside. Trubisky fires, and that's caught for a 1st down. Cohen makes the catch. Williams with the tackle. Down to 2.5. Trubisky listening for the play call.
It's a nice play by Trubisky. Pump fake one way, come back to his read on the opposite side of the field and pick up that 1st down.
Hey, pie. What? Jerry,
16. Trubisky hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. Couldn't get enough on it. Raven Green came in. Put the heat on Mike Davis, was the intended receiver. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
I think Raven Green hit that one almost by accident. He stuck his arm out without any vision whatsoever right there and knocked that football away.
And that makes it 2nd down and 10 at the 16-yard line.
You always have to be aware of Trubisky running the football in these situations.
Play clock to 1 as Trubisky throws to the outside, and that is dropped. And Adam Shaheen wants a call on it. Doesn't get it. Now the ball, no, they already said it's incomplete. So the rest of it's just extraneous. It's 3rd down, 3rd and 10. Yeah, you got to go for it on 4th down. Here you're down to this point in the game. You're down by 7. Alexander with the coverage on the play.
Yeah, they definitely caught the ball, but it's going to get knocked out before another step or two got down. The right call.
Should be the final play before the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 10. Trubisky to the end zone, and it's going to be picked off. It's Adrian Amos who comes back to haunt his old team. The Chicago safety who signed as a free agent with Green Bay picks it off, and Green Bay has it. 2-minute warning. .158 after that interception. Last road win against the Bears when scoring 10 or fewer points back in 1932 when they won the game 2-0. Block punt out of the end zone, the only score. Now Green Bay has it. Chicago's going to have to take their timeouts on defense. Keep it on the ground and keep the clock going, making Chicago take a TO. Aaron Jones, let's go back to the interception.
Yeah, a big mistake here by Trubisky. His first major win of the night. There's Amos. And watch him just lean this way because Trubisky never takes his eyes off this side of the field. He's unthreatened the other way. So he just drifts. And as Trubisky just really lobbed it up in the air, almost like he was looking for a jump ball situation down the field with Robinson. It was just an easy pick for Amos, who knew him well. You know,
sure.
I mean, let's face it, he saw him all the time in practice. He knew when he stared a receiver down, he had a chance to break on the ball, and a little time for a celebration.
So it's 2nd down and 5 now. And Rodgers going to throw it. Whoa, man alive. I mean, Valdez Scantling, so that's unusual.
Well, and it stops the clock, and it's all those things.
I know. It's very unlike them.
You know, it's interesting. A team that wants to be run first, they came up with 5 yards on 1st down.
Yeah. I mean, you want to make Chicago use its timeouts, if nothing else.
Now I think you have to play for the 1st down here. If you've got to throw it. If it costs you not burning a timeout, you don't care. This is the game. Green Bay Packers can win it right here.
And they convert. No, sir. So they're going to get it back. Jones. And in comes the punt group. Partner, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get rid of these clothes right now. I mean, enough's enough here, right? Woo, baby.
On a permanent basis.
Right. Well, we came on and, you know, we said, let's go back to the roaring 20s. Here we are.
I know why they're called roaring, because they're hot.
More vests. You know, Al Capone just called. He wants to visit the booth. I said anytime after midnight.
It'll be good. Yeah. I hope Tariq Cohen doesn't visit the end zone with one of these.
J.K. Scott into punt for the 9th time. He's going to take the clock all the way down.
He's going to have a chance.
Booming kick, but Cohen's got it back all the way up.
He's got space.
From the 11-yard line, but a flag is thrown, so no matter what happens, you know that's normally on the return team. With a booming kick, 63 yards. And that'll probably cost them a few more after they announce the penalty here.
Well, that's why you draft a punter in the 5th round. A kick like that in that kind of moment.
During the kick, holding receiving team number 33. This penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Duke Shelley, a rookie.
6'6" of J.K. Scott got it all. Look at that extension. His foot's 2 feet over his head.
So Cohen going off the field looked like he was cramping up. Happy birthday to Drew Esikoff, our illustrious director.
The king.
Only spent the last 20 years with Drew.
The best. He keeps us well entertained. I'll say that.
CJ said he's good for something. Good for a lot. All right, Mike Davis is in the backfield. 4-man rush. Trubisky shoots one out to the 16-yard line. Raven Green stops Mike Davis. Bears have 1 timeout. 80 seconds. 2nd and 8. Sorry, the Bears they used 2 timeouts on the last series.
120 and started my signal.
We reset the clock to 120.
Gator.
Second and 8 now. Ready for play. Trubisky fires over the middle and nobody's home. Intended for Anthony Miller, who's had a silent night. It's 3rd down and 8.
That had a little opportunity there. He had inside position on that 4 vertical route and a safety in the middle of the field. Boy, that's exactly the kind of opportunity you're hoping for right there. And that one was missed.
3rd and 8. Trubisky throws too high again there. Intended for Wims. Well, I tell you, Chicago first drive of the 4th quarter, they had a 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 43. 3 penalties later, they had a 1st and 40 from their own 27. So a lot of self-destruction tonight. 10 penalties, 107 yards.
Boy, Zadarius Smith with a great move inside to apply that kind of pressure and force that incompletion.
Last chance saloon right here. 4th and 8. Trubisky. And he's going to get sacked. Preston Smith comes in, and that really puts an exclamation point on a tremendous Packer defensive performance.
No question about it, Al. And let's give the new guys some credit here. Preston Smith comes up with the finishing blow there. Zadarius Smith the play before, and they got it done. Little stunt inside here by Preston Smith. Going to loop back around to the inside and come up with this sack. But on the prior play, it was Zadarius Smith lined up inside, one-on-one, great move, and gets right in the face of Trubisky and forces him to throw it away.
And you see Aaron Rodgers with that lovable shove to Mike Pettin on the sideline, and what a job the defensive coordinator did. And we were with Aaron last night, and he said, you know what I'm really excited about? The defensive guys that we've gotten.
Well, and what he said was, a lot of times we get guys at the end of their career. But Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, Adrian Amos, who made the play, there's Aaron Rodgers giving a little love to the defensive side. You know, they've been drafting defense around here for a long time. And all of a sudden now, Mike Pettin, in his 2nd year, he said, we're no longer out there teaching them what to do. Now we're teaching them how to do it. And it showed up here tonight. Congratulations to him.
Tremendous defensive performance. Green Bay did just enough on offense that one quick drive, and there's Pettin. They love him. And the Green Bay Packers come in, upset the Bears, and go home for 5 of their next 6. So anybody that thought Green Bay was on the skids for a 3rd year in a row might want to revisit that thought. 2 straight losing seasons. First time in a couple of decades. But tonight come away with a win, 10-3.